Hello, my name is Terry, and within recent days we've seen the news headlines. Anyway, out with the old and I believe in with the new. So I definitely believe we need a change of politics inside this country, and I don't think we're going to get it from the same people that we keep putting in, MPs after MPs. I believe that we're going to need somebody who has real life experience, all shebangles of the situation. So anyway, let me just start out my policy. So my name is Terry. And if I was your leader, these are the radical changes that I would apply to get done in this country for the benefit to unify all of us together so that we walk. I hear a lot of these leaders keep mentioning this word loyalty. I keep hearing that a lot. And I'm sorry, I'm a great believer that loyalty will lead you into slaughter. Let's think about the word loyalty and compare it to a word called unity. Unity is stronger in my book for many reasons, such as to be unity is like everybody is having their back scratched, but also scratching backs at the same time. I believe this is what makes a successful nation. Again, so big changes that would need to happen is this. As soon as I hear the word loyalty, been here before. I think loyalty has been experienced repeatedly for a very long time. And yet, we don't see any changes. We get the same promises and we are always let down. So just think about that. Every time you voted, or if you have voted, how many times have you ever seen any leader live up to the expectations of what they promise? And then they go around promising you everything out in the public. You see them all gather around everywhere to get your vote. As soon as they get your vote, it's an agoraphobic prison they create and think that the work is by staying inside the Houses of Parliament, arguing with each other all day, every day, and they never leave the office. So let's move on with the old and let's bring in something new, something more stronger, something that unifies us and brings us all together, and together we as a nation for the first time ever start to rise together. So number one on my list would be anybody caught with paedophilic or any paedophiles from this moment on. And this may sound discriminative, but I think it needs to be said. I believe, and I would aim for, definitely, which I think should be safeguarding all of our children, that if you are caught doing this act and you are convicted, life in jail. You will never have a chance to take the innocence away from another child ever again. And as a leader of a country, this should be ensured that we safeguard all of our children from all of this type of nonsense that goes around. So I definitely believe that this should be life in prison. You will never get to do this again to another child for as long as you live. Which moves me on to the prison system, that it costs on average £4,000 to £6,000 to keep one prisoner inside a jail, and the taxpayers, we pay for this. We are paying for this each and every month for a prisoner to have all of their health taken care of, all of their needs looked after, you know, and I think this is wrong. And yet you've got somebody who gets terminally ill with a sickness, and we have a lot of people saying you're not entitled to this benefit, but walk your way into prison. And I think this is very wrong. This is a very wrong sort of situation that we've seemed to have evolved into. And let's not focus about what is wrong. Let's try and see a way that we could fix this. So I would definitely will be U-turning this. If you break the law and you go to prison, I expect you to work and earn your keep, and you will pay your way to have that place that you are in. You're not going to get an easy life in prison, and if you think that it's a way to get away from a working background and that the taxpayer is going to be punished for your crimes, think again. You will work, and we will make sure that the work comes to the prisons. You will get up. You will support the sick in this country. Once you've got through your victims and you've compensated them, I believe the way that you can go from your bad situation and make a real difference to transform your bump in the road into something positive, and it will help you gain insight into what it means to look after somebody else who is less fortunate than you, regardless of what you did. I'm going to exclude murderers and probably paedophiles from this one. Small-time petty thefts and all little different things like this. Maybe there will be a possibility for you to go work so that you can bring in some money and you can give this to your victims. And once you're through giving it to your victims, I will then see to it that you will then, with this work and the money that you won't get, you will get some, but not a lot. The rest of this money will go into the pot, the taxpayer's pot, and you will pay back to the taxpayer. And the taxpayer will no longer be punished for your crimes. You will be punished for your crimes, and you will support the sick in this country. And I believe that at the end of your sentence, you will gain much insight how to work. You will gain much insight on what it means to think of somebody else who's less fortunate than you. And I think this, anybody will then accept that you had a bump in the road and you transformed. You transformed yourself and you transformed and helped somebody else. That can be forgiven. And your bump in the road now turns into a positive. Not a negative, but a positive. And a positive for everybody. And I believe this helps to create much, much unity. So also another one I'd like to bring up is smoking. I would love for this to be eradicated from society. I mean, most of the health concerns pay for people who have addictions, and the benefit system will compensate people with addictions to help them get off of it. I believe a very therapeutic non-smoking type of approach would be brilliant, trying to remove the chemicals that cause cancer from the tobacco as best as we can, and to give everybody in society a fair shot to try and clean up our toxic ways that we have grown accustomed to. And I know this sounds really big, and people will be like, how can you say this? I am actually a smoker myself. So vulnerability being shared, and I would love to get off of it myself. So I think I got a few ideas on how that we can go forward with this. So, you know, definitely needs a change. I think our education system muchly needs a large amount of changing. It needs more structure. We need more discipline. Children need to be allowed to be more creative. I definitely believe that this is going to benefit kids in the long run. You know, it's getting them there. It's getting them where they need to be. They also need to learn life skills. And, you know, rather than being told what to think, you learn how to think. And I think this will be very important and a very key structure inside our schools. I believe that we lack discipline when children go to school. Rather than learning from the teacher, they're learning from everybody else in the class, and they're all pushing each other to move this type of, what do I say? I don't know the correct word to call it, but the way it looks to me is the teacher lacks the authority and the pupils seem to have the authority, and they seem to goad each other into becoming, I know it all. I'm better than you. And it's not incurable. This is not damaging. We can fix this so easily, but we just got to think and look at the way that we are responding and the way that things are panning out inside our society. So the education system, I believe, is going to need a big look at, and is going to need all of us to come together as people of the United Kingdom, to come together as one, as a unity, as one big unit, to discuss what could be better for our children. How can we make the education system more effective and more positive for our children, that they want to go to school, that they want to learn, and it makes it so much more exciting rather than, I'm bored. We definitely need to change the situation. And I think coming together to discuss what is best for our children, I think that is what helps unify us, and that we all then play an active part in leading our country together as one, and we all lead together. Not someone at the top pulling you all this way. No, I think we should all get together and figure out which way is best to go forwards. So again, with the education system, so we've covered that one. I believe war. This is something else as well that I'm definitely a great believer in, okay? I honestly believe that war should be dedicated to our history books and it should be made obsolete. Literally. So that we can all of us, across the whole entire planet, not live in fear, but live in respect to one another. You know? And you might not love one another, but at least we can like each other and we can say we're all here together, we're all striding towards the same thing, and we all want betterment. And wouldn't it be nice for all people, not just here in the UK, but everybody around the world to feel secure, feel safe? That is something. Now, it might not be that, you know, it'll be difficult. We don't know. We can have self-defense. We can defend ourselves. Yes, we can. But to go out and actively look for war? No. No. I think that this whole type of scenario degrades our mind and our thinking, and our children view this as, what is the point? What is the point in building up? What is the point in doing this? If at any moment we can be blown up. Do you see how it's putting a message, one that's never said, but one via body language that is projected onto all of us, that, what is the point? So I think this type of approach then starts to tell our kids, our children, that we care. We don't want you to start smoking poisons. No, we want you to have the best education. We want you to have a good time. We want you to learn. You know, that. We don't want you to learn this, let's blow each other up when we can't when we can't sort something out. Coming together. I think that would be very beautiful if the world could unite and we look for a common worth. And I believe that it's right above our heads, this common worth. It's space. We've got lots of space above us. So this is going to move me on to the next one, which is space, and I'm going to look at the moon. At the moment, we live on a fragile planet. It's not fragile in that aspect, but it is with our food supply. So if we have a burning take place, it hampers our food. If we have flooding, it hampers our food. We only have so many months of a year to grow this food. And if, for whatever reason, climate, flooding, fires, all sorts, whatever, accidental fires, let's say, who knows, all of these disasters, we see them played out year in, year out. But none of us are shifting to fix this, and considering food is very important to humans, and so is water, we don't seem to do enough to safeguard it. So a very big project, and a very, very, very big one, is to get a greenhouse on the moon. Sounds really, really bizarre, doesn't it? But the moon, in terms of fragile, what does it have to really deal with? Meteorites. Flooding? No. Fires? No. Not just the moon, but also underneath our farmland. I would request and ask that all farmers were to dig up the soil and place into it massive glass vats that go under the ground with these stakes that stick out of them. Great big glass columns that go out to the light. And then we put the soil back over the top with these little spikes that stick out like telegraph poles or anything like that. And these are glass columns. Above on the field, during the summer, we will grow on it. And we will grow underneath it, using the perimeter where the trees line the fields here in the UK to have a nice field of solar panels go around the outside of the field. The crops still grow on the field during summer, but for the rest of the year, all year, there are crops growing underneath the field inside protected environments. Therefore, we would be able to grow oranges, lemons, tropical foods, all foods, lots of foods. Another thing is that with this type of thinking, that before we expand another big city, let's install these underneath the cities. Let's put these massive grow green areas underneath the city. Massive they be, and they're capable of growing copious amounts of food. Our survival depends on it. This is where we should be going. safeguarding our children's future as well as our own. So it's selfish, selfless in one shebangle. And I think this is brilliant. This is where we need to be, I believe. I would love for the population of the UK to feel this too and want to get involved with this and be like, yes, yes, this is what we're going for. This is where we're striding towards. The jobs that it will create. The green spaces all year round, not just waiting for the summer, but have this underground. All sorts of food just growing. Fresh food. Then we can start to eliminate some of these bad foods in society, and they will just slowly fall off with the increase of better foods, it being available all year round, and being able to have a copious amount of this food, that if any disaster this planet has to throw at us, the level of humanity's ability to be able to survive at no matter what this universe has to throw at us, that is what separates us from the rest of the species. And as our moral duty, we should be supporting our animals at the same time. Again, selfless. Again, it helps to boost morale. Stroke an animal. See an animal. Wow, congruent. Life. Another life form. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. This has massive boosting effects. Helps to eliminate depression and stress. We also are able to eat more better. We are becoming more healthier. And it makes this type of food that may be really expensive start to come down in price, therefore making it readily available for people no matter what your circumstances are, no matter what your background may be, no matter how much money you may have, you will always be able to get hold of decent, quality, fresh food. And this, I believe, will help us to venture out into space. After all, it is our next step. But if we don't take it, we've got to start moving out there. And let's say, let's get this installed onto the moon. A massive greenhouse that is capable of supplying the whole of humanity with the whole year's worth of food that we used to grow on Earth, and still grow on Earth, and still have this made in space from the moon and underground, ensures a lot of natural products. Brilliant. I believe our morale will improve. Depression seem to lower and subside. Affordability. This is brilliant. Therefore, it gets us onto the moon. That's one step. Therefore, we can get to Mars. We could get to Europa. We've got a lot of water sitting around this solar system of ours, just not doing anything. We could go and collect it. I would love for us to build a spaceship big enough to lift everybody from the UK off the planet and into it. If each nation followed this, and then we joined these massive geodes together on one giant craft, a huge one, that when the time comes, we would have made our own Earth, we would have made our own star within it, and we would have achieved energy that is self-sufficient, and food we would understand in the vaults underground and on the moon. And when that time comes, we, the human species, will be ahead of our game, and we will be ahead, and we choose our demise, not the star, not the planet, not running out of water. We, because that's what we do. And selflessly we bring the animals with us, rather than Noah's Ark. Why don't we build Noah's craft? Animals in 2 by 2, every human, up we go. And if the time comes, what a challenge. Is it possible, humanity? Can we lift the entire species up into space, into a humanity together, collectively unified, to build a craft that supports every nation and lifts every person off the planet at that time when it's needed? Doesn't matter what religion you are, you can share your religions. And if we find other species out there, other life forms, what a story. Wouldn't you want your religion to go that way? Wouldn't you want to share this with another? And then maybe we find another species that are like, I'm going to join up to this. This is exact. We've never thought this before. Oh, yes, we're going to join into this. And then we join a cause. If we can't get it together on our own planet with diversity and accept each other for who we are, how are we ever going to do it if we ever meet other life forms? How are we ever going to do that? If we meet other friendly life forms and we've got issues with different people being different and, oh, you look, I'm different and this is different and my eye colour is green and yours is blue and yours is brown and hazel and red and green, and it doesn't matter. We need to be looking at these different situations that we have, and we seem to hold on to just trivial things. It's very trivial. Let's look to something bigger than ourselves. Bigger than ourselves. You know, I think this is where we need to be. Again, another one for me is businesses. I love to see the businesses that are around, but it's kind of, to me, it's like keep it in the family. Most of these businesses I see, they're all family based and keep it in the family. Now that's okay, no problem. What do I do normally? I sit down and think and create inventions. I've got a lot of them. Number one would be a tumble dryer that doesn't use 3,000 watts of energy. It uses 200 watts of energy. And what's more, rather than using one load in your tumble dryer at 3,000 watts and you have to wait for it to finish before you do your next load, no, this one, you can put any amount of washing inside of it. Any. You can put a whole week's worth of washing inside of it and leave it and it will dry it for you. Yes, it might take a few hours, but tell me the difference between taking a few hours of waiting around your day on a Sunday or whichever laundry day that you have, waiting for the wash machine to finish. And then once that's finished, you've got to put it in a tumble dryer or hang it up. Or here it's the UK, most of the time we have winter. It doesn't really dry. It takes a while. But what about if you could do it this way, where it doesn't cost you the earth? I got a lot of inventions like this that I would love to gift to the young children of this country, this fine, beautiful, diverse, multicultural country of ours, and to give it to the children so that they have decent jobs ready and waiting. No, keep it in the family, because the extended family of the human species should be the spirit. And we should view each other as family. Why? Because that helps with unity. That helps to give. That helps us to support one another, look out for each other, help each other, bring people up who may feel down. And I believe this is our responsibility to one another. And if we were to all do this, how much more of a better place would this be to live? It's up to us to make it. It's up to us to make this part of the island, the world, if you like, what it is. And then others might see this and be inspired by it. And maybe repeat this and copy that. And yeah, I'll have some of this. Don't like this bit, don't like that. Hey, that's what it's about. Pick and choose. What suits you? And I believe this is going to create such a beautiful, 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 harmonious Britain. And we will be putting the great back into Britain once again. But it's on all of us to do that. So definitely with these different jobs, I would gift these. Because some people I know are very, very good at thinking up jobs and businesses and different things like this, but they might not be able or fully confident in running that business. And then you've got people in this beautiful country of ours that might not have that gift of being able to think, but have a wonderful gift at being able to run a company. And you see how that where one can support the other, which then can support back to the other one, which then can support those, and support back to those, and support back to those. And that is what makes unity so, so strong. And when I hear loyalty, we've been here before. We've been here repeated time and time again. Are we going to carry on staying in this situation and keep doing because it's what our parents did and their parents did? Or are we going to make a stand up and say, we want this change? We want this. I haven't gone to a politics school. I haven't fallen into this type of a college or anything else like that, or university. No, no, no. This is from being in this, viewing it from my current perspective, which should be equal to yours. I'm not at the top. I come from a good balance in the middle. I'm not rich, I'm not poor. I'm somewhere in that line in between. I believe we all have so much potential just poised, waiting to just happen and burst out into this world to start doing much, much good. And do you know what? If you feel this, then I require your help to help me to help you so that we can walk together. Another one is fuel and power stations. A little bit far-fetched, but let's move forward and say we got successful with these greenhouses. And in space, away from Earth's natural, let's say, ecosystem, but in space, somewhere away from all of that, to genetically modify a forest. A type of a forest inside a vat that doesn't come into contact with Earth or Earth's natural ecosystem. It stays away from that. But I would wonder, can we genetically modify a forest that is good at producing a large amount of oxygen? I think you see where I'm going with this. It's able to absorb carbon dioxide. Not just that, it's able to absorb carbon monoxide and a large quantity of it. Not only is it able to do that, it's able to grow really, really fast. Can we do this? Is this something that we can achieve? And if yes, and it does all of these things and we can achieve that, then think about burning that fuel in a power station, and the smoke that comes off it will then feed back into the forest, which then is a self-fulfilling prophecy of energy that never leaks out into none of the gases leak out into Earth. None of the gases of the plants ever see outside of this vat. It all stays enclosed, and what leaves is power. A power station. But it's all inside one enclosed system that we get so good with it that we are able to keep this cycling going. And I think that is where we should be aiming towards with power stations, is rather than we're going to extract petrol, can we make it? Can we make it some genetically way, not on Earth, but out in space, so that if it ever went wrong, it's just a case of ejecting, and it never contaminates anything. If it didn't work, and we'd clean up and try again, and we keep going until we get something that is bang on, working with nature to achieve something that is, well, from this side of the spectrum, would be quite an achievement. And wouldn't you be proud, humanity, to say that we did that? And it wasn't painful. It didn't cost the Earth. It didn't cost us loads of money. What it cost us was to let go of our egos and come together and unify to create the life that we are all wanting to live and that we all want to experience. I'm going to just leave this one here for now, and I'm just touching upon a few. Please trust me when I say I've got a lot more, like little Pandora's box. I'd love to share this with the world. I want to. I need your help. So, I've said minimal of what I've said. It's up to you. It's up to you. Thank you for your time. And no matter what you're doing, no matter where you are, I hope you're having a fantastic day. One more note I will touch upon. All love to our allies. Yes. I'd love to make more. I'd love for the UK to make more allies. It'd be brilliant. Thank you very much.